All right, what's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video today. Today I guess this video may be clarification for some. Um, it may be first time hearing it for others. But at the end of the day, hopefully, whoever sees this video enjoys it. Hits the like button, shares it with someone who they think or who you think would also like it, and leave a comment. Let's engage the channel. Let's force YouTube to recognize that we are a force over here. With that said, the other day, so I've spoken, recently I did a video and, I've done it. I mentioned it several different times in other videos where, people have this, there's the two factions that the raza from Northern California and Southern California fall under. People have this whole historical thing where they truly believe that it was a thing where the South was bullying the North, and that's not what it was. And I try to say that both factions were founded. This is facts. Both factions were founded by dudes from Southern California. So if you really take away any bias, and you're open minded, you understand that there was propaganda formulated in order to entice one side to hate the other side more, and so it is what it is. Well, someone in the comments said to me the other day, shout out to you, I apologize, I should have wrote your name down, I always do this. But he said, hey, before I get there, let me say, I said, the whole north-south thing didn't even happen until the late 70s, around 78 or so. And so the other day, somebody, I think it was 2 days ago, somebody got in the comments and they're like, hey, my dad was in YA in the 70s, 74 to 76. And he said in his photo album, it has 13 in there. And then under his dad, it had 14, right? And I don't know if that person was trying to correct me or inform me or whatever, but I responded to him, and I will elaborate on that here for everyone else since you guys didn't see the comment. So I guess for some people, I have to be extremely particular. I'm trying to convey a message, tell a story. And while I do give a lot of detail as far as, trying to create the scene for you in your mind, I forget that people need like exact wording, right? So let me clarify. The South North, Southerner, Northerner thing did not even enter the California Department of Corrections until the late 70s. I thought that was kind of clear when I said when the issue started between this clique started up, the second one, I mean, that started in the 60s. There was no such thing as North and South, people banging North and South, red and blue, as far as raza. It was, so I didn't know I had to really break down everything, but we'll do that. So one organization was founded in the 50s. Another organization was founded in the 60s. The Southern Northern thing, red and blue, banging South and North, did not enter the CDC until the late 70s. Where it originated was in the California Youth Authority. Let's go back. The California Youth Authority is where the whole gangbanging thing started between the South and the North. Another group that was started in the California Youth Authority was the Nazi Lowriders. Started as the Southern Alliance. Went into the California Department of Corrections, and the legends for the whites did not like that name. I don't think they even liked that this thing was happening. But they changed it to Nazi Lowriders. Those of you that were in YA, or those of you in the know that in the California Youth Authority, the whites were very, very outnumbered. And when a new white dude would come to the dorm, the Southerners would get at him. Hey, Holmes, you know, you want to kick it with us? You're welcome to, because it was rough on the whites. And the ones that said, yeah, I'll kick it with you, they ran with the Southerners. They were white. They were not Southerners. They were white. But they ate with us. They followed the rules that the Southerners had in place. And when other woods would come or whites would come that were of the same caliber as the one that said, yeah, we want to run with the South, they would, once they had enough, 3 or 4 of them, then they would do their own thing. However, anything jumped, they jumped. That's the place where whites and Southerners jumped together. Okay. So that's why it was called the Southern Alliance. 1 second, let me mute my phone. That's why it was called the Southern Alliance. And that is also why the name was changed when they entered the California Department of Corrections. Now, I had a celly, and I've spoken about him a lot. No, it's not Pacas. It's the one that was one of the original members of El Monte Flores. He was there. So he told me the first time he had ever seen a Southerner, right? And I want to make it abundantly clear. My celly, that OG right there, and I don't like to use the term, but he used to say, I'm not a Sureño. I ain't a Southerner, homie. Like, the Sureños and the Southerners fall under an umbrella that I'm under. He said, but I was doing time way before there was such a thing as Sureños and Norteños. He said, what do I look like joining something that came after me? And I met several OGs that were the same way. They were like, nah, homie, I was doing time in the 70s before that. So my celly said it was around, he said it was around 78. And they were in San Quentin. And they were on the weight pile. And there was a legend there with them. And all of a sudden, this youngster, they had shipped a bunch of dudes from the California Youth Authority to San Quentin. Okay. And there was a youngster, Mexicano, and he had a blue bandana hanging out of his pocket, right? And so the legend was like, hey, what does that mean over there? What is that? What is that? Why does that Vato have that out there like that? What does that mean? Nobody knew. Everybody was like, I don't know. So he said the legend was like, hey, raza. And the Vato looks and he goes, hey, can I talk to you for a minute? And this idiot told the legend, hey, hold on. Hey, I'm doing something right now. I'll go over there when I'm done. And my celly said that you could hear the weights, like Vatos that were curling and whatever, that you could just hear everybody dropping the weights. They were going to jump on him and kill the dude because of the way he spoke to the legend, right? And then he told them, nah, kick back. I want to get to the bottom of this. So the youngster comes over and he's a YA baby. Vatos and YA, guys that were in YA had a mentality that nobody was better than them, right? So he comes walking up all hard, and the legend like reached for the paño in his back pocket, and he was like, hey, what is this right here? And he was like, what? He says, what does this indicate right here? What is this about? Why is this hanging out of your pocket? And he said, this is my flag. He said, your flag? Your flag for what? What does that mean? What is that indicating? And he said, I'm a Sureño, this and that. And they said that the legend looked at him and he identified what he was, and that youngster turned white. And he told him, put that fucking thing in your pocket and I better never see it again. And so my celly said that was the first impression that they got of what a Southerner was. He said it was a bad look, Holmes. It was a bad look. He told me another story, the second story, and it was another bad look for the Southerners. They actually asked the Southerner and the Northerner to do a jale together. And the Northerner performed and the Southerner didn't. So he was like, look, Holmes, things work themselves out. He said, but in the beginning, he goes, I remember when the first Southerners and Northerners came from the Youth Authority. He said, we had no idea what they were about, where were they, where were they at mentally, you know? So I just wanted to do this video and just let people know. Those are not gang. That is not a gang. Southerners and Northerners is not a gang. People like to use that word. In the California Department of Corrections, there are only 4 organizations that are identified and recognized as gangs. Every other group, I don't care what it is a disruptive group. Completely different meanings, completely different ways of dealing with them, right? But the Southerners, the Northerners, and the NLRs, all of that was created in the California Youth Authority. And so the California Youth Authority had, it was the breeding ground of at least two disruptive groups, because NLR, you don't ever hear about them anymore. But the California Youth Authority was the breeding ground of 2 disruptive groups that entered the California Department of Corrections and wreaked havoc, and have wreaked havoc for decades. But it's a trip how it all came from the minds and the hearts of some crazy ass, badass kids who were incarcerated in institutions where it was completely dog eat dog. You know, last night I was in the live, and, you know, we're talking about how, you know, in the California Youth Authority, a riot could kick off like that. Somebody had something in the microwave and somebody got impatient, took their thing out, their bowl out, and put their stuff in. Boom. The whole unit is going at it. You didn't have to run it through anybody. You didn't have to get approval from anybody. All it would take is the dude whose bowl got taken out to fire on somebody. One of his homies jumps in. Everybody jumps in. Let's get it. California Youth Authority, to me, was really, really the Wild Wild West. It was completely dog eat dog. You didn't have that protection where you can't touch him, homie. You know what I mean? Like in the joint, where you can't just, you see somebody and you know that was a pussy. Can't do nothing about it. You got to wait until he proves it, and hopefully you don't get stabbed or shot in the process of him letting you down. Whereas in YA, when you think somebody's a pussy, you just go there and fucking sock him in his neck. Baya! And then you test him out that way. Anyways, that's my video for today. Hopefully this was some clarification. Because it is a trip how that storyline is still going around. Excuse me. Like I said, I get it. And you know, there's people that give me really long, drawn out, detailed historical comments, right? And I'll give it to them. A lot of it is true. However, I look at, I did a lot of years in Pelican Bay Shul. I've been around a lot of legends. I've been around a lot of OGs. If you can't tell already, I'm someone who always sought knowledge. Knowledge is power. And I asked, you know, the history when I knew it was somebody I could ask, right? When that door was open, I asked, you know, and I was given honest depictions from guys that were there when certain things happened, you know, and it's a trip how, I mean, I kind of get it, you know, people had to, you know, tweak the facts in order to generate hate. And in prison, it doesn't take much. People are so miserable. A lot of people are very hopeless. And so being able to stoke the fire of hatred in there is pretty fucking easy. That's my video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out of here.